the first thing I heard wasn't the shouting. It was the silence that followed. A silence so heavy, it felt like the walls themselves were holding their breath, like something had already broken, and I had arrived a moment too late to stop it. I stood at the door, my hand still on the handle, sensing that whatever waited inside wasn't just an argument. It was a moment that would change everything. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Epic Stories Where Silence Speaks. My name is Zach, and I am 60 years old. At this age, you believe you've seen everything life has to offer: joy, heartbreak, pride, regret. You think the storms have passed, leaving only calm skies and quiet evenings. But life has a way of reminding you that even the oldest hearts can still be shaken. The day I walked into my home and heard my daughter-in-law shouting at my granddaughter, something inside me shifted in a way I didn't expect. It was a late afternoon when I returned home. The sun was soft, casting golden light across the street. I had just come back from visiting an old friend. My bones were tired, but my heart felt light. There's a certain peace that comes with age, simple joys, slow moments. But the moment I stepped inside, that peace shattered. "Clean the kitchen right now. Do you think I'm your servant?" My daughter-in-law's voice echoed sharply through the house. I froze near the doorway. Her voice wasn't just loud, it carried frustration, anger, and something deeper, something harsh. Then I heard a softer voice, trembling. "I just came back from school, I'll do it later," my granddaughter whispered. Her name is Aina. She's only 12 years old. 12. A child who should be worrying about homework, friends, and silly dreams, not fear. I slowly walked toward the kitchen, my footsteps heavier than usual. When I reached the doorway, I saw Aina standing near the sink, her school bag still hanging from one shoulder. Her eyes were red, holding back tears she didn't want to show. My daughter-in-law stood across from her, arms crossed, face tight with anger. Later, everything is later with you," she snapped. Something in me stirred. "Aina," I said gently. Both of them turned. Aina's face changed instantly. "Dada," she whispered, relief washing over her like she had just found safety. My daughter-in-law straightened slightly. "Oh, you're back," she said, her tone shifting, but not completely. "Yes," I replied calmly, "and I think I came back at the right time." There was silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the heavy kind that sits in your chest. I walked closer to Aina. "Beta, go change your clothes and rest for a bit," I told her softly. She hesitated, looking at her mother. "I said go," I repeated, this time more firmly. She quietly slipped away. As soon as she was gone, I turned to my daughter-in-law. "What was that?" I asked. She exhaled sharply. "Abu Jai, you don't understand. She's becoming lazy. If I don't discipline her now, she'll grow up useless." "Discipline," I repeated slowly, "or fear?" Her eyes narrowed. "You think I'm doing something wrong?" "I think," I said carefully, "that a child who just returned from school deserves a moment to breathe." "She always makes excuses," she argued. "You don't see what I deal with all day." "And you don't see what she feels," I replied. She looked away, clearly annoyed. That night I couldn't sleep. I sat in my room, staring at the ceiling, listening to the quiet hum of the house. But in my mind I kept hearing Aina's voice. "I just came back from school." It reminded me of something. Something from long ago. When my son, her father, was young, I wasn't much different. I was strict, hard, focused on discipline. I believed fear created respect. I remember once, he had come home tired, just like Aina, and I had scolded him for not finishing his chores immediately. He didn't argue, he never did. But that night I saw him quietly crying. And I ignored it. Because I thought I was right. Years passed. He grew up, became distant in ways I didn't understand at the time. He respected me, but there was always a wall between us. A wall I built myself. The next morning, I found Aina sitting alone in the courtyard, her school book open but her eyes lost somewhere else. I sat beside her. "What are you thinking about?" I asked. She hesitated. "Nothing, Dada." I smiled gently. When someone says nothing, it usually means something big. She looked down. After a moment she whispered, "Am I a bad child?" My heart tightened. "No," I said firmly. "Who told you that?" "Mama gets angry a lot. Maybe I'm not good enough." Those words, they hit deeper than anything. I took a deep breath. "Listen to me, Aina. You are not a bad child. You are kind, hardworking, and strong. Sometimes adults, they carry their own stress and it comes out the wrong way." She looked at me. "So it's not my fault?" "No," I said, "it's not." For the first time since I had come home, I saw a small smile on her face. That evening, I decided something had to change. Not just for Aina, but for all of us. I called my son and daughter-in-law to sit with me. They looked confused, maybe even a little worried. "I want to talk," I said calmly. My son nodded. "Is everything okay, Abba?" I looked at both of them. I made mistakes as a father. They exchanged glances. "I thought being strict would make you strong," I continued, "but all it did was create distance." My son looked down. "I don't want the same thing to happen again," I said, "not with Aina." My daughter-in-law sighed. "We're just trying to raise her right." "I know," I said gently, "but raising a child isn't just about control, it's about understanding." There was silence. "She's not your enemy," I added. "She's your responsibility, and your love should be louder than your anger." My daughter-in-law's expression softened, just slightly. "She's only 12, I said. "She needs guidance, not fear." Days passed. Things didn't change overnight, but they began to shift. The shouting became less frequent. The tension slowly eased. One afternoon, I saw something that made my heart feel lighter. Aina and her mother were in the kitchen together, not arguing but laughing. It wasn't loud, it wasn't perfect, but it was real. That night, as I sat alone again, I realized something important. At 60 years old, I thought my role in life was fading, that I had already done my part. But I was wrong. Sometimes being old doesn't mean stepping back. Sometimes it means stepping in, with wisdom, with patience, with courage to correct what once went wrong. Moral of the story: children don't grow strong through fear. They grow strong through love, understanding, and patience. Discipline without compassion creates distance, but guidance with kindness builds trust. And no matter your age, it's never too late to make things right. I am Zach. I am 60 years old. And that day, I didn't just come home. I found a chance to heal what I once broke.